Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here with your all stuff, no fluff news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Sega Dreamcast emulation with Flycast, and Flycast just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, Flycast version 2.6 is the latest and greatest update. And this update has a whole bunch of new stuff in it, a bunch of fixes, a bunch of fixed games, new features, and even more. So as for what's new here, per pixel rendering with OpenGL ES on mobile, match code server for battle cable games like F355. Outrigger and Power Smash online gaming support, integer scaling and choice of filtering for output frame, audio improved frequency envelope generator. They fixed a major issue with Mali GPUs when using per pixel rendering. I think Mali GPU users are going to like that one. Dream Pico port fixes and enhancements, combos to trigger emulator buttons. Dream Potato support, that is huge, that's for VMU stuff. Configurable paths for BIOS, VMU, and others, and UWP enhancements, UI themes, better support for Thrustmaster wheels, and even more. However, and the big however here, and there's going to be a fraction of users who are not happy with this, iOS is no longer supported, and also texture upscaling is no longer available. So for both of these options, it's probably not advisable to update Flycast. As for fixed games, they've got Battle Racer, Doom 64, Sonic Adventure, Mobile Suit Gundam Federation vs. Xeon, and even more, Sega Rally 2. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd say that's probably a pretty important fix, audio and Jet Set Radio. Anyways, if you are interested and wanted to learn more about this, like everything we talk about, links are within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. And speaking about Jet Set Radio, but just not on the Dreamcast, on the Xbox. Next up here, we're talking about Jet Set Radio Future. And if you were excited about this game on the Xbox, you might be excited about this news here. If you wanted to learn more about this one, Video Game Esoterica has you covered with an extremely detailed video. Anyways, here at a super high level, Jet Set Radio Future for the Xbox is being decompiled. Now, unfortunately here, I don't have information as to when this is going to happen. It's worth noting decompilations can take a little bit of time. They can take years. They can take quite a bit of time. They can never finish if they do encounter a huge roadblock. So this one you may have to be patient with, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll have to monitor progress and go from there. Just because something, for example, makes it to 90%, not that this is anywhere near 90%, the final 10% could take years. There's really no way of knowing how long this is going to go. But at the same time here, I would say this is very promising news. And speaking about promising news and no way of knowing how long something is going to take, next up here, we're talking about Snapdragon 8 Elite custom Mesa Turnip drivers. Now, we talked about this one in a previous video, and there were some released, but they were in very, very early stages and not necessarily something that should be considered for mainline use. Anyways, here I'm seeing more and more of this online here where people are saying finally and very excited about this. It's worth noting that these drivers are not ready for prime time just yet, and I don't know when they will be. Now, I'm not going to knock things though. It is very exciting and a huge milestone that there's now custom Mesa Turnip drivers for the Snapdragon 8 Elite. However, and the big however here, my advice to all the Snapdragon 8 Elite owners is to remain to be patient. It's going to take a while for these things to get fully up to speed to the best of their ability and surpass the current drivers that are out there. This is still very early on. I've seen a lot of people extremely excited about this stuff and then frustrated when the drivers are not outperforming the stock drivers on their phones. You're going to have to be patient on this one. There's even a PSA up on Reddit Emulation on Android that says the latest 8 Elite Turnip drivers you see aren't meant for Eden yet. Now, unfortunately, I have no idea how long it's going to take for these drivers to be a more viable option than just using stock drivers. We're going to have to wait and see on that one. We're going to have to wait and let them cook. The base is there. They've just got to season it and continue on cooking with it to make sure it's nice and ready for consumption. I'm really excited about this. I think it's a huge milestone overall, and I can't wait to see what's next. Next up here, we're talking about a brand new Half-Life, but not Half-Life 3. We're talking about Half-Life for the Game Boy. And this is a really interesting demake of Half-Life, and it is up on itch.io. So this one is called Half-Life Gamma Burst. first, and the developer says it's a reimagined Game Boy Color demake of the 1998 original. This release is a playable teaser focused on the hazard course section of the game. It showcases some core gameplay systems, early visual style, and atmosphere of the project, adapted to a top-down 8-bit format. The full campaign, inspired by the main Half-Life storyline and the events of Black Mesa, is currently in development. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm really interested in seeing the final version of this project, and at the same time here, it does look like it's compatible with Game Boy emulators. Let me know your thoughts. And speaking about custom stuff, that was a bad segue. Next up here, we're talking about Retro Achievements. Now, if you're a fan of Retro Achievements and interested in the Retro Achievements events that we see quite a bit of that I talk about from time to time, well, they've got a brand new tutorial on how to play events right on the Retro Achievements website, which I would recommend checking out. So for those wondering, Retro Achievements Events stand for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, and they're a fun way to explore new games by participating in community challenges. Join Achievement of the Week, monthly challenges, seasonal competitions, and special themed events to earn unique badges. Now, I don't know about you, but I do think Retro Achievements breathe a lot of new life into older games. I'm not necessarily an achievement hunter on newer games. However, I really think Retro Achievements is really suited for a lot of older games. They introduce a lot of fun challenges. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking about fun challenges, next up here, we're talking about Nintendo DS emulation on the PlayStation Vita with DS Vita. And DS Vita just got a brand new, really big update. So at the time of filming, version 0.9.0 is the latest and greatest update. And based on what I'm seeing here and based on what I've seen online, it does seem that this makes Nintendo DS emulation on the PS Vita extremely viable. There's a whole bunch of optimizations, fixes, improvements with this brand new update. And speaking about gaming handhelds, next up here we're talking about Powkiddy, and this is a really interesting PSA. And yeah, I think it's kind of a PSA. Anyways, here there's a post up on Reddit SBC Gaming titled Warning Powkiddy Card Fraud. This person says, bought a Powkiddy RGB30 over a year ago directly from Powkiddy.com. Made a virtual card solely for this purchase, then froze it immediately. A year later, someone tried to use that card at Habitat Elburn, USA. Unfortunately, I'm not the only one. Quite a lot of people reporting similar. Do not give your card details to these fraudsters. Now, scrolling down here, Cheddar George, who posted this, has a couple of other posts that they've linked to. I guess they're in the UK, and well, this is interesting because I am not joking with you here. I'm not blowing smoke. Maybe this is purely coincidental. But if you remember a while back when I covered the WeCube 64 and I couldn't stop laughing at it, I decided to buy a Powkiddy for the person who owned that device, and I'm pretty sure I used my credit card on Powkiddy.com to do that. Well, anyways, interestingly, about a week ago as well, my card was compromised. Now, I don't know about you, but I normally just use PayPal, but for this one instance, I didn't, and it looks like there may be some coincidental things that happened to me here. I'm not saying that happened from Powkiddy.com, and that's the reason why my card was compromised a significant time after the fact. But at the same time, I don't normally ever use my card details on questionable websites or unknown websites. And I'm pretty sure I made one exception here and it turned out to bite me. To further prove I'm not blowing smoke, not that I need to, here's my actual purchase receipt from Powkiddy from my purchase back in March 2024. They say here, and I'm obviously not showing all of the details because my personal details are within this email, but taking a look, this is my order here, a Powkiddy RGB 20S 3.5 inch, and I paid $65 US for it. And speaking about online retailers and PSAs, but going from something super questionable to something I would say is trustworthy, at least for myself. I use this store all the time. This is Aknes, and we talk about Aknes here and there because they have sometimes some exclusive 8-bit DOS stuff. They resell 8-bit DOS stuff, Aya Neo stuff. And taking a look, they've got a brand new coupon code that I think is worth noting. Now, it's worth noting here, this is not sponsored whatsoever. I'm posting this because I think this is a fantastic savings. And well, if you like savings, you might like this. Anyways, here, they're offering a 30% off discount on select products currently available on Amazon US. The discount code is 30Aknes with an extra S here, and there's some heavy-hitting products like the 8-bit DOS Ultimate 2 Bluetooth controller, the Ultimate Wireless 2.4G, the Ultimate 2C Wireless 2.4G, and the 8-bit Do Pro 3, 3 different color variants, the G edition, the purple edition, and the gray edition. Now there's even more stuff here like TMR joysticks for Joy-Cons and Gillikit stuff and even more, but just 30% off the Pro 3 I think is a fantastic deal. I mean, for reference here, the Pro 3 right now goes for about $70 overall. This puts it in line with Pro 2 pricing, which I think is a really fabulous deal. Let me know your thoughts. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.